Hi guys, it's reaction time. We've got Alter Bridge and Silver Tongue. This is coming off the forthcoming album, October the 14th, Pawns and Kings it's called. So I've explained my love for Alter Bridge before, especially on the last video, Pawns and Kings. And you know what, I've sort of, it may look like I've had some negative comments to say about Alter Bridge for the last couple of albums. I still feel that way. I still don't love them as much as previous albums. I've had a few comments under my Pawns and Kings album explaining how good Alter Bridge is. This is it's not even an argument, because I totally agree. Alter Bridge are absolutely superb. I think sometimes when your favourite bands bring out new stuff, they're automatically under scrutiny because you're looking at their past material. Now, I've made no secret that, you know, the first 4 albums of Alter Bridge are just amazing albums, and Alter Bridge quickly became my favourite band. And their music got better and better up to Fortress, in my opinion. And then, you know, like I said, you sort of judge new music to the best music. And in my opinion, and remember it's all opinions, the first 4 albums are absolutely flawless. So whenever Alter Bridge bring new material out, I am sort of judging it, you know, and I do that with other bands. Iron Maiden, for instance, got some Iron Maiden stuff. Been one of my favourite bands since I was a kid. My favourite albums are Power Slave and Peace of Mind. And when I hear Iron Maiden stuff, you know, I will be judging it automatically to my favourite material. It doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that I prefer other stuff and it's not quite as good. Production was another thing that was brought up, that other people don't think the production, there's not a problem with the production, the sound of Alter Bridge's records. Now, I do think there's a problem, because it's only, remember, my opinion. Someone said today actually, under the Pawns and Kings video, you can hear every instrument. Yeah, of course you can, but it's not, that's just not what good production's about. And I'm not an expert, by the way. It's whether the drum sounds good, whether the snare drum sounds good, whether the bass drum sounds good, you know, the kick drum, whether the bass guitar itself is high enough in the mix. Has it got a good sound? The guitars cut through nicely. It's not just about hearing every instrument, it's about the song in general sounding good. Anyway, I think the problem with Elvis Baskette is that the producer of Alter Bridge's albums, he's not that he's a bad producer. I think he sounds great on other stuff, like the Tremonti stuff, for instance. It's almost like Alter Bridge has got too much going on in their music for Elvis Baskette to make a good sound with their music now. Only my opinion, remember. And the same goes for Iron Maiden's producer. I don't like the sound of Iron Maiden's albums now. It's Kevin Shirley, I think. But he does other stuff with other bands that is more of a stripped back sound. The Treatment being one of them, great British band. But his production on theirs sounds brilliant. So it's almost like the producer has to fit with the band as well. It's not just whether he can produce an album. He can make one band sound great, one band not. Anyway, I think my expectations are too high. I've got to admit that with Alter Bridge, because they are. They've set the bar high, made 4 of the best albums in rock and metal, in my opinion. So, you know, that means that they've got a lot to live up to. It's not a bad thing. It's just that, you know, my favourite band will be judged. So there you go. I think I've explained myself. Remember, it's all opinions, guys. It's all opinions. And I don't even think the last 2 albums of Alter Bridge have been bad. It's just that I think they've not been as good as their previous albums. Anyway, we're at the second song. I've spoke for 4.5 minutes already. We're at the second song, Silver Tongue. Come out yesterday or the day before, I think yesterday. So really looking forward to it. Really look forward to anything that Alter Bridge bring out. So here we go, Alter Bridge and Silver Tongue. quick stop there, guys. Always do halfway through. Man, this is a great song. Really heavy. I love the beginning. I love the intro. Almost reminds me of Addicted to Pain, for sure. That definitely reminds me of that. The thumping beginning, that is great. Really like the verses as well, the way it's like chugging along, and Miles sounds great over the verses, of course. By the way, Miles has got a brilliant voice, by the way. All I've said in the past is that since singing with Slash, he's taken this slight on, you know, because of and it is an instant thing. If you actually look back at Alter Bridge live, you look at the Live in Amsterdam DVD or Blu-ray or CD, whatever you want, and you listen to Miles on that, the next time you hear him live on a release like live at Wembley, singing completely different. So in between times, I think he was with Slash, so he met up with Slash and started doing some stuff with him. So it did affect his voice. Don't care what anyone says, and that was quite a while ago now. So you can hear the difference in him singing and that sort of warbling almost thing that Axl Rose does. But he's still got a brilliant voice. I just want to put that out there. So probably one of the best ever voices, not only now, but you know, looking at past singers as well. So I really like this. I think it's more stripped down. I think it suits. This is sort of what I wanted from Alter Bridge on any new material. I wanted more stripped down sort of style, more like they was doing probably up to the 3 album. You know, a real sort of back to basics. And it sounds like they've gone more for that in this. I've still got an issue with the production. Because, you know, you're not really going to have an up and down in production. I had a bit of an issue with Pawns and Kings. It's just my thing. I just didn't like the sound of it too much. It wasn't too bad, but it's not great. You know, this shit happens with the biggest bands now. I've already mentioned Iron Maiden, Journey, who I love. Their production ain't great on their album this year. Great music, but poor production, really. Sort of not the best. And Alter Bridge have been doing this for a little while now. I think they just basically need a change. That's my opinion. Remember, it's only opinion. So production-wise, yeah, you know, it's still the same. It sounds like the last couple of albums have. But the song, I love the stripped-down feel of it. It's a real rocker for sure. I think this is heading more in the right direction. Although, when I listened to Pawns and Kings, and I've listened to it a few times after my reaction, and I didn't mind it right away. I quite like the song, especially the second half. It's grown on me as well. So I think, you know, I'm looking forward to this album. I think it's shaping up probably to be better than the last 2, in my opinion, from what I've heard so far. Fingers crossed for sure. But remember, they've not made a bad album at all. Just some albums ain't as good as others. It's like all artists, isn't it? You know, they've got to live up to certain standards, and that's what I expect of Alter Bridge, because they're so fucking good. So great so far. Really always looking forward to see if there's a guitar solo from Mark Tremonti, one of the most underrated guitarists ever. Here we go for the rest. Yeah, man, it's a great song. If you compare this to other releases, it just knocks 90% of the releases out of the park for sure. It's only because they're so fucking good you expect so much. Love the breakdown, love the heaviness of that. Almost gives me a little bit of the Free album feels, and that's my favourite, the AB3 album. That's my favourite album from Mortal Bridge. And almost when it died down, gave me a bit of those darker feels there. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a darker edge to this album as well, which AB3 definitely gave it. That's probably the darkest album they've made, and like I said, it's my favourite. So they sound on top form, man. I mean, I think this is a step, definitely, now listening back, because you on second, third, fourth listen, sometimes your view changes, sometimes for the better, sometimes for not. But listening back at Pawns and Kings, it's improved from the first time I heard it, for sure. Definitely the second half is amazing. And that's a step in the right direction, in my opinion, compared to the last couple of albums. So, what do you think, guys, of this Alter Bridge song, Silver Tongue? Bit of a rocker in it, bit fucking heavy. Let me know in the comments below, guys, and I'll see you soon.